Gamers from around sub-Saharan Africa, get ready for the return of the African Gaming Championship for 2026. We're heading to Cape Town, South Africa, where players will be competing at Grand West Entertainment World for 150,000 Rand in cash. This is where the top players from Africa gather to be able to compete. This is where bragging rights are earned. This is where new stars rise. This is where legends are made and legends fall. This is the crowning moment of African esports. This is AGC. The titles fighting for the crown at AGC will be Valorant, Fortnite, Trios and Solos, EAFC, Call of Duty Mobile, Free Fire, Squads and Solos, Tekken 8, Brawlhalla. Registrations for the African Gaming Championship of 2026 are now open. Head over to acgl.gg/AGC26. Let's see who's going to be crowned Africa's best esports champion.
Oh my god, what a way to start. I got goosebumps already. Welcome to the final week of ASL term number 2 2026. It's your boy, the Blackheart AR, back at it again with Mike, aka Ultradism. Dude, what an intro. I am so hyped for that.
Delan, it's official. It is coming in July, 16 to 19 July. Gonna re-emphasize those points because if you guys haven't put that in your calendar yet, get those flights, get those tickets in there. Set aside all of that week for the best esports actions. Pros, schools, they're both gonna be there fighting it out. So many titles this year, which is huge. And we got to see that venue, the Grand West, last year. Same repeat. Most beautiful building, most epic atmosphere.
My god, absolutely insane. And if you missed out last year, you don't want to miss out this year. This is your chance. Book your flights now. Prepare yourselves for the greatest LAN of the year, AGC, coming to you in July, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just talk about it for a second, okay? Because we saw Brawlhalla, we saw EAFC, we saw Valorant, we saw Tekken, we saw Free Fire, but we also saw what we're doing here today. Fortnite, both trios and solos with a combined 40,000 Rand prize pool.
I cannot believe that. 10,000 Rand for a player for like one of the best games. The fact that every one of these games is getting supported with a prize pool like this. The fact that there's so many mobile titles and PC or console titles. It is just the greatest thing ever. I mean, there's been bragging rights for so long. Now there's something big on the line.
And we talk about the bragging rights. Let's talk about what we witnessed this year. Because we can talk about term 1, right? That's where these guys show up and show out. The minute term 2 hits, that's when the competitiveness comes out. Let's talk about what we've seen over the past 5 weeks so far, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen Edgemead rise to the top non-stop, except for this past week where they were taken out twice by Glenwood High. And Glenwood actually coming out on top over there for that week. I'm going to read you the overall scores for this past 5 weeks, okay? Edgemead sits at 777 points. Phenomenal. Listen to this gap. Dynamica in second with 491. Okay?
It's a 260-point gap. That's a third of their score.
Here's where it gets interesting, though. All the way from second to 6th. This is how close it is. Third place, Hillcrest, 444. Fourth place, Trio Fortnite A, 431. Fifth place, St. Joseph's, 429. Glenwood in 6th, 390. Today, being the final day of Premier, means that those 5 positions from 2nd to 6th can change so drastically on that overall board.
I mean, it's not unheard of for teams to get 100 points in their best days. So you're fighting all the way down from 7th position there. You're still technically in with the shot. Across 2 lobbies, what you're really hoping for is the people above you are going to get taken out early before they can secure any of those placement points. But even the teams who get pretty far, if they don't stack themselves up and back it up with some kills, some eliminations, they could lose that lead very quickly. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to challenge Edge Meat. They've been too consistent. But we're going into lobby number 1, our first and of our final lobbies across the Schools League, with that LAN now in sight.
Man, I'm sad that we're on the final week, the final day of ASL, but that just means we're getting so much closer to AGC. Alt, last year, I got to speak to one of the IT teams in their final year of competitive Fortnite, the Anchor. We know them so well from past games, and they were so sad that it was their final time competing. But guess what? They had already put their names to organizations. They were already being scouted at AGC over there. And that's what AGC is. We're going to see that happen all over again this year. So make sure you're there, ladies and gentlemen. The crown awaits 16th to 19th July.
I mean, AR, that's why we've been calling this the megastars in the making. This is the place where people have a safe environment to get to know the competitive leagues. You know, we've got the open divisions, etc. But once you really start taking it seriously, once we start to see that glimmer, that shine of so many of our players, it just locks in. Then we get to see them being scouted, really making a name for themselves, fighting in the same tournaments as the pros, and across all the titles, we see this. But, I mean, this is quite an energetic start to the day, AR. We've already lost 4 players.
Man, and I'm sick too, so if I'm this excited, chat, you know how hyped I am for this LAN coming up. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. But we must focus, brothers. We must focus on our ASL Premier Division over here. The final week, our final 2 games. And like Alt said, we've lost quite a bit of players already. 8 total now, and 1 full team-wide. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's both eliminations and placement that counts to the leaderboard. So you don't want to be that first team eliminated, as Swal goes down in that kill feed as well. In fact, taking us down to 40 players left. And Ters trying to take down this NPC over here to get any mythics or any legendaries. There's going to lose quite a big chunk of HP as well. 31 HP currently. Take a look at that map. Wonky Land still home to quite a bit of people, and we've seen this happen all the time. And of course, it's the same teams that land here all the time: Feder, Tire Boss, and Nitro. And we can only imagine who their competitors are at Wonky Land.
Well, they're not here anymore, right? They have been vacated. That is our team that is missing. A full 3 points, which is great.
Hold on.
There's another team just lingering nearby, and they've been spotted out with really good awareness by Tybos.
Wait. I need to interrupt you for just a second. Can we go to a free cam and look what the sign says first, ladies and gentlemen? They are building a sign currently.
No way.
What is it gonna say?
There's no way you don't even... You're that confident coming into this?
Does it say HHS? Does it say Hillcrest?
Oh my goodness. Biggest baller move in competitive AGC Rocket Fortnite action. And you might be right.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, we know who Wonky Land belongs to here on our final day of Premier Division.
HHS, full shout out to the team just down the road from me. They have come through, they've proven their name, and they've done so well in this. It's not one of those big schools that supports esports and has 20 teams behind them. This is probably the only Fortnite team that they've got, and they've already earned themselves their top 5 position. If I'm not mistaken, they were 3rd when you wrote out those stats, AR? I mean...
Yes, they were 3rd, yes.
Right, that is the attitude of a podium holder right there, and I love to see it. Big shout out HSS.
Man, the fact that we're getting to the land season and these guys know that we're in that competitive season now, and they're taking the time out of this Premier Division to go ahead and have the bragging rights of the POI. They've landed at consistently every single week, every single game of Premier Division, and 9 out of 10 times won the initial battles here. They go ahead, they plant their flag into the ground here, and they claim it as their own hill fest. They are doing phenomenally on scoring as well. Let's see if they can get a bit higher. But we move into some fights with another devastating team, Edge Mead right now. And they find themselves surrounded by teams.
Another. The man says that like this isn't the devastating team. It is Edge Mead coming out. Jamaica Dragon and AWAC. They are so well known, and this is what they do. They find targets and they chase them down. Micah takes off on their own, trying to get some sort of sight lines on Connie. The Storm is not going to do the damage right now. Looking to confirm this. This is just a victim waiting as Dragon takes down Evan from the other side of RHB. He's still in the Storm. Micah, I don't know how far he wants to try and go on your own. This is a little bit deep if you do get knocked, but for your team to come to your aid. But just kind of keeping a spot. Doesn't really know where Connie has disappeared to. Kind of keep an eye around the outside, see if they can cut them off on the way back. Maybe just scouting for the rest of the team. Not going to hard engage. On the other side, 2 teammates. They found another trio, and so Micah's going to be called back very quickly. Already picked up Divine, and just these 2 players together. We've seen AR, the power of duos and what they can do. We saw that as Elite X took 2nd place last week. Yeah, they don't need to fight this duo. They've got a 3rd, so they're going to buy their time. AWAC poking and prodding. Shots trio and Asga on the deficit of it. Okay, Hillcrest has joined the party.
I want to see the kill feeds when we get a chance, because Divine going down there makes me wonder if Mike can chase down Connie, because that was the last member of Glenwood left. Now, whether it was greed for an elimination or revenge from the past couple of weeks, I'm curious to see how that goes down. Meanwhile, though, Dragon fighting his way out in this bull battle. Quick edits coming through, hits the shotgun shot. Micah does go down, unfortunately, over there, leaving the duo that you did mention. But of course, we know Dragon. We know what Dragon's capable of. He's big, he's bad, he'll crank 90s on you and your dad. That's the clip from term number 2. Let's see if he can do it again over here. Big shotgun shot incoming. Does take away all the shields. And now Dragon looking like he's in the dire spot right now.
Still got the high ground advantage. We've seen that so much. Doesn't want to waste all the mats. In fact, only has a single build left to the name. And so decides to pop those little minis, get back up to 50, and then going to top it up with the chug. Still got 2 players who know exactly where Dragon is right now. Micah confirmed on the other side. So that's going to have to be a res, but got to get out of the frying pan before we start looking at that part. Gets a nice clip on Kybos, who's going up over the top and decides to take a long way down with that low gravity boost, but shots already trickling, tracking him around these cliffs, and turns for the fight, takes down Typo, and that buys him just a little bit of space as the rest of the team suddenly waits. No! There's no waiting here for Josh.
Knew that they were incredibly low and pushes Dragon down. AWAC now last alive, using those gauntlets to make the distance, and look how deep in Storm they actually are. Meanwhile, Divine is back in over here. Kyle getting that res off. Not too sure where Connie is right now. Connie actually moving to zone, you can see on the map over there. But I mean, to have Glenwood get that reset as well, especially how well they've been doing over this past couple of weeks, is tremendously beneficial for them, for that points, for that overall leaderboard. We'll see how much of a boost they can actually get in terms of points. Meanwhile, Trissi right here, last one of the duo. Lucian, unfortunately falling quite early on over here, now has to find a way to make a play to get a revive, to get a reset for the team. And we usually say numbers advantage. The numbers game is quite strong, but when we cut back to last week, a duo coming in the 2nd spot over there over both games is absolutely insane.
They still show that great aggression, and when you're the one starting the fight, as we see this duo trying right now, Chris getting a nice sight off the end of that. But duos can do it as long as they're isolated at the beginning, and the mobility offered by stuff like these gauntlets is enough to play around and keep your angles well. Chrissy, though, needs to be careful. One tick, and there it goes down to the Storm. There was enough damage, had no healing to say anything of. So it does go down eventually. 4 teams having hit the ground now. Far more than that in players. So it seems we're seeing a lot of people diving back into the Storm, either just to try and avoid or try and get those reboot cards up for their teammates. Because like you say, that numbers advantage, a trio into the late game, that's the norm.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't stay in that zone even though it's this early in the game. Yeah, it may be a 1 tick per second. But even if you get hit that hard, as we see with Chrissy over there, you will get taken down eventually by the Storm. Chrissy won't wake up, and they don't like how that ends at all. 14 teams, 40 players left within this. And still zone number 4, ladies and gentlemen. This is game number 1 of our final day of ASL Premier Fortnite, ladies and gentlemen. The action so far has been non-stop. Just like these shots down at these builds down range. Ters, Poiki, and Pokebot right now just spraying with these combat assault rifles. In fact, going to start chasing in with the gauntlets is Pokebot over here. Has still 15 uses left on it, taking all the way up on the high ground here. And now there's only one way to get up here. It's the zip line that Pokebot is guarding. Has beautiful oversight of the entire map over here. Spots one out on the top of the hill. Lands a couple of shots, but that player tried to reset very quickly.
Does take to the edge, but there's enough other targets around. One of the signs of a good team that we've seen over and over is their ability to just be aware of all the threats and take the smart angles like this. Pookie gets a couple of shots towards him, so it turns towards the high ground. You never want to tunnel vision in on a single target. This distance, not great. There are some great assault rifles still doing damage from this sort of distance. Not enough to be able to get a good team beam, and so might want to just drop down to where the team is waiting and finish off these targets just below. Goes in with the shotgun. Has got the head. It's going to finish off one just there. This team is looking nice and healthy. That's their first elimination of the match.
107 bullets left over on Pookie means that they can fight for as long as they want in this area as well. Take a look at that map. Still teams in the zone currently, Alt. And quite deep in the zone as well, all the way east side. But we move back over to our bragging right owners of Wonky Land, Nitro Fader, Tybots. Currently, you know, doing their things over here. Full purple loadout here on Tybots. Has that Chaos Reloader, that Thunderburst SMG, and I mean, how often we talk about this SMG, how powerful it actually is out. We've seen it take HPs down to 0 from 200 in about 2.3 seconds. And Ty right now just focusing some heals to share with the team. TLC gonna try to escape off of that, manages to put those balls up just in time to block all of those shots. Meanwhile, the kill feed, AWAC gets one, but Zaya takes out AWAC as well. As we are down to 36 players, still our 14 teams within this at zone number 5, but that zone about to shrink in, and everyone gonna have to move past these squibbly shores to safety.
The fact that AWAC did get confirmed there, but that we didn't lose a team, means that did manage to get some of the teammates back into it. We go across to, this was our infamous duo from last week. Enzyme and Happy Hippo were the ones who showed up, but they've got Star in tow this time, and suddenly Elite X in a much better position. Only got 1 kill to their name. They're doing a great job right now. Happy Hippo looking to confirm this. Whoa, from a gold shotgun. That took a little bit longer than I expected, but will confirm and get a great siphon. And look at the loot that drops as a prize. You get up to 4 kills. Get yourself some points. A little bit of pizza to celebrate the party.
Pizza party and a gold pistol as well. I mean, we talk about the pistol out, we talk about how underrated it usually is. This time around, not so underrated. Everyone's been using it here in ASL, as we are going to get a fortress built up on top here by Happy Hippo right now. And it's so nice to see them as a full trio within this. We've seen what they're capable of as a duo, like you said, coming in second last week. But to have a trio right now, it's gonna make their odds so much better. Meanwhile, our trio over here that is Hilton is gonna be shooting and holding out every single person from this storm as Turs gets taken out, and now looking for anyone else to pass this border. Trots is gonna go down eventually over there. Ty looking to go ahead, get the confirm, doesn't manage to do so eventually. We are down to 11 teams, ladies and gentlemen. 23 players is all that remains here in Storm number 6. And we're actually gonna go ahead and get Edgemead down, which takes us down to 10 teams. If I'm not mistaken, Edgemead was the team that was far east in the storm, and I think they just eventually got taken out by the tick damage.
Oh, that's huge, actually. A big chance for people to start closing that gap. Again, not going to necessarily be able to close it completely and usurp them from that top position. It gives you a really nice opportunity to stack up the points. Not going to be scooped up by one of the most infamous teams in here. The rest of the team's doing well. Hilker's now up onto 7 elimination points. Barra going to be able to heal up nicely with that newly salvaged medkit. Even has a little chest there, but does not want to wait around. The storm now officially doing way too much damage, forcing you into uncomfortable situations. As you're one of the last teams to rotate like this, so often there's a team already set up looking back towards you. So what do? They put on the pressure. They challenge Sanchez for this position here, and then takes a nice little undercover area. Doesn't have any more heals, so can't afford any more tick damage or to be spotted out. As the teammates already putting in the damage, laying waste, and BRC over there hiding in a bush, just denied by a line of sight, and a single HP point, it seems. Storm comes in quickly though, and everyone starts to run, and everyone starts to get cleaned up. Sanchez goes down, Barra goes down.
Oh my god,
actually.
Those pistol shots just barely going past TLC there is actually insane. I can't believe that a bullet did not connect over there, and I think we'll eventually heal up back to at least a battle stance. No heals right now, so still that absolute one shot in the bush. We'll see how long TLC actually survives over there. Meanwhile, we are down to 8 teams, 16 players right now, ladies and gentlemen. Storm number 7 about to shift as we head over to Ripped Tides for our final few storms. Happy Hippo gonna take down Fed. It takes us down to 7 teams as well. Meanwhile, Ty Boss and Nitro being found out on the rotation into this newly safe zone, and I say safe with a pinch of salt, because let's be honest, the storms are never safe in Fortnite. The circles are never kind for all of these players, and we'll have to see where it falls in the next 30 seconds. Enzyme gonna go ahead, use those overdrive grenades to clear some distance, but so much shots from behind over there takes him down to 50 HP. Eventually we'll pop the medkit as we are down to our top 6.
Man, you say safe. I think this has been one of the most active matches we've seen out of the 6 weeks, where there has not stopped being bullets flying everywhere. Shout out to our wonderful observers for trying to keep up with this action, because, man, we have had non-stop aggression from every one of the teams, it seems. And even now, this is one of the longest periods of quiet as teams really set themselves up. You could see the priority being put out there by Elite X to try and take that high ground. They're just on the edge of zone there. That's giving them a great position. Tricks, on the other hand, they're sitting already on some natural high ground that's been built up just a little bit. Going to be able to edit themselves back into a nice spot to try and scout out any maneuvers from their opponents. The Storm shrinks once more, forces everyone to join Tricks and the rest of the team up on high. And that gives them all the free fire range that they need. There's still one team above them that they need to worry about.
Down to our top 4, 11 players. Team on height currently immediately as well, as the mists do get popped on both sides over here for healing, for the zero gravity effect as well. And Suede even going to go ahead and share that chug jug for the rest of the team. Go ahead and pop. Suave going to be back up to quite healthy at least. I'm not sure if it's going to top up full shields. We'll see how this goes in the next couple of seconds, because that's all these teams have, is a couple of seconds to move back in. And oh no, a misplay off the overdrive grenades. Is that going to cost them over there as they get pushed back into the storm? Meanwhile, Suave moving to the gas station, taking space immediately. And beautiful thing over here, taking the natural cover of the building as well to not waste mats. And you can't waste mats. You only have 19 builds left. He has to play this smart right now. It's Happy Hippo. be holding this wall. It is going to be Glenwood that is trying to push them right now. Drops down really quickly, trying to get to a safer spot and maybe rotate in. But the bullets coming from left, right, and center, eventually taken down. As Alt, we reach our top 3.
Oh, it's Glenwood, Divine, Connie, Carl. This is a team that we see over and over. On the other side is St. Joseph's. Yeah, of Suede, Suave, and Tricks. It is the names that we see time and time again. Edme is the team that's most notably vacant. These are the guys who are fighting it out for that second position. Kyle and Connie, this is our Glenwood squad on high. They've got so much damage to throw in here, so much space to work with. No one is looking up. Tyboss and Nitro from Hillcrest are trying just to stay alive and keep their builds intact. The storm continues to shift. Kyle and the squad here can hold the high ground, keep building the sky base. They've got 20 more builds, so they will have to drop down eventually, but they can eliminate at least one other team, or at least let them cause destruction on each other. There goes Hillcrest and St. Joseph's. They are linked together. Ty tries to convert the high ground into his side, but gets immediately rebuffed off there. Doesn't take too much damage, so still quite healthy for the fight below. But the fight below is starting to swing into the way of St. Joseph's. Final 3 teams, final fights.
3v1, Ty, a sliver of HP. That's Hillcrest out, ladies and gentlemen. It's just St. Joseph's up against Glenwood right now. And the shots coming in very quickly, but look at where Glenwood is. They have the hill already. They're on the height. They can hold out the opposition for as long as they need to, and are currently doing so with the spray. And I mean, it's just a matter of positioning over there as Glenwood once again get the victory royale. 7 kills to the name to add those points on the leaderboard.
Look at those HP pulls before we flash away. Woo! Look how comfortable they were at the end. That is a clinical victory to me. A team that has made their moves. They have gotten themselves into the nice high ground. Kyle was already heading to cut people off. He was thinking 20 seconds late into the match. They didn't need it. And 7 kills for the team as a squad is a really nice way to bolster up those points. There were other squads that we saw getting a couple more KP than that. So not decided yet, because the first position is worth a lot. But we have seen teams that have not picked up that first position still coming out with the most points. So we'll have that leaderboard for you in just a little bit after a little bit of a break. But AR, I think that's a fitting end. And again, every week offers something new. This was so aggressive where you could see players fighting for their last chance to score some points.
I think they saw the trailer, they got as hyped up as we are, and all that energy just came into combat after combat after combat. And you know what? We still have more combat coming for you live, because that was just game number 1 of our final day of Premier for term number 2. So like I said, we're going to get that leaderboard set up for you, but we're also going to get our final lobby for ASL Premier term number 2 2026. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The stage is set. The crown awaits. The LAN is locked in. 16 to 19 July, AGC is coming to Cape Town. We hope you guys are as well, because we certainly have an entire lobby for the last time of people who have got their eyes set on that main event. Welcome back to the Fortnite stream. The last time we get to bring you one of our Premier Division lobbies before we all head down for that final showdown. Ultraism and AR, the Blackheart himself, here to bring you this final bit of action. AR, but bittersweet at the end of it.
Man, I'm teared up that this is the last day, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Of course, we do have Open that goes on. If you guys are curious about the Open Division scores, head on over to schools.acgl.gg/ASL. There's an overall leaderboard. You guys can check the top 5 and click into it to see the rest of the scores. And you guys can also go see the Premier Division scores there as well. But we're gonna bring you today's leaderboard because it is updated so far post game number 1, and no surprise over here, our winners of game number 1 are in first. Glenwood with 79 points, 7 kills, and that victory royale means that they are going to be in first, but not by much, because Hillcrest with their 14 limbs get 76 points, and what a show out over there. First of all, building the side to claim their wonky land. And then on top of it, getting 14 kills as well. Absolutely insane.
I absolutely love that they did so well there. The fact that they slowed their own game down and delayed all their looting, etc. They knew that they had wonky land all to themselves after they'd eliminated the other team. They got their 3 early KP and went, right, let's have some fun. Let's live it up for the final day, and 14 eliminations by the end. That's why I was saying first position doesn't always count for everything, because closing that gap down, I cannot believe it, just 3 points in it when these teams are already tussling for that second spot in the overall leaderboard. Second lobby now though, AR, and even more points. At 14 is starting to push the envelope a little bit as to how much you're willing to get punished.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, chat, if we seem excited, because even though this is the last day that we're getting to commentate this, it's because earlier we just announced AGC. We got to see the trailer, and by the way, full clarity, that was Alt and my first time watching that trailer live. That was our genuine reaction for AGC, and you guys should be excited too. If you want more details on it, head on over to acgl.gg. You can find an AGC tab over there with all the details. But Alt, important factors over there is number 1, 16th to 19th July. Number 2, Grand West in Cape Town. Number 3, 150,000 rand. And the question is, who's gonna take the crown for their respective titles?
And so many titles, AR, so many. We'll get back to that later, but Fortnite, the main one for the day. We've got lobby number 2 right now, going to be jumping in there. If you guys are interested in the rest, Valorant, EAFC, COD Mobile, Free Fire, Tekken 8, Brawlhalla, it's all going to be at AGC. The only thing that's missing is you. If you're not there, it is worth it. Make your way down there, guys. But we jump in here, Wonky Land already the target for our team in blue there, but the North, pretty popular. And a lot of teams going to have to fight it out around the Frigid Fortress area, it seems.
Do we see who the blue team is, by the way, Alt?
AWAC, Dragon, and Micah? Are we sending Edgemead to Wonky Land? No, surely that's the ones in the east. Surely those are the guys in the east.
I mean,
they love that eastern position.
They do. We've seen it time and time again. What if they're switching up the strat, though? We'll actually check that. I think it should be our usual victors at Wonky Land that is going to be land there. But look at the spread that we have right now. We've got a couple teams near South Studios, which will engage very soon. Lucian going down quite early over here. Trissy as well, in fact. That is going to be, yes, it is St. Joseph's that is going to take them out. And immediately, instantly, 2 KP on the board. First squad wipe out. And we've already lost 3 players. So somewhere along the line, someone else going down as well. But of course, Swab back into the play off of that. But there's, and now we only get into Storm number 1. Now the timer ticks away, and we've already lost 3 players.
Told you, AR, with the moon coming into this full moon state right now, people have lost their minds. As a teacher, I can tell you right now, my classes have lost their minds, and it seems they've extended to the Fortnite battle arena because the violence continues, the bloodlust continues, the points up for grabs are just too tempting for these guys. It's about the team who can now keep their head. There's a lot of work to do before you get to that final zone for a lot of these teams. First job is get those inventories nice and stacked. And also make sure you got enough meds. There's such a variety of them right now. And of course, the materials. Because at high ground, time and time again, we're here giving you guys the model answer for your exam coming up right now. Get that high ground in the late game.
Look at that spread, northern side as well. 4 teams, every 3 if we're excluding Wonky Land, that always has a team within here. As Nice but Cool gets taken down by Sano Striker, getting their first KP on board. Mr. Fishy and TRC as well over here. And it's nice to see that they're getting early KP. Usually they find themselves in battle and have to rat it out a bit in a building, in a bush maybe, just to get a little bit of a reset off. Actually pushing here and engaging in a 1v1, getting the elimination early on. We love to see that happen. But we're down by 5 players already to our 15 teams, and Storm number 1 just about to close in. And, you know, we can talk about the loot pools all that we want. What I'm seeing is less and less Skyline deploys being used. It's almost as if these players want more overdrives. And fair play to it, of course. The better movement option is the overdrive grenades, of course, very similar to the shockwaves. There are times where, you know, a misplay can be made, like we saw in the last game. You shockwave your teammates accidentally back into the storm. But that Skyline deployer, I think, is much more beneficial for the early game, as once again, Alt, hide and seek world championships right here. And unfortunately, this isn't Prop Hunt, so they will get found out here eventually. Walls now being broken down, like it's the walls of Jericho. And some free KP with Sanders Striker, TRC. Mr. Fishy does go down over there, so maybe not that free. Now the hunt begins, finds out where the last is, gets the final shotgun shot and Smully, and that's going to be our second team wiped out.
Yep, not quite free, but heavily discounted right there. 95% off or so, because they do lose Fishy, but it's enough between the loot that they get afterwards to be able to stabilize that. The KP is the most valuable there. Love a little MX's trick there of being able to isolate their opponent in the little cone. It was such a nice way to buy themselves the time to crank that 90 afterwards. The other side, first, this is actually a little bit of retribution being sought right now as AWAC chasing down Typo. There goes the shockwaves, as you can see. There's such a good, quick deployment from that and such distance that you can get. It means that you can chase them down, and only hope for Typo now is that the Death Star itself comes and intercepts Princess Leia here on AWAC, and not going to be enough. Dragon comes around the corner, bursts that immediately afterwards. There comes the first KP for Edgemead, and Typo going to be punished for being isolated from the team. Now, where's Micah? Always off on their own little adventures.
On behalf of Ultranism and myself, I would just like to say we do not condone bullying, because that right there was a bit of bullying with how many overdrive grenades were being used to get that kill, to chase down. And I think you said it perfectly earlier on, Alton. We don't use this term as often as we should for ASL. Bloodlust. That was bloodlust right there that we saw in that chase.
But you can see why. I mean, those overdrive grenades are so quick, and when you got 6 of them stacked in your inventory, you're crossing half the map. You can go around corners, you can go over hills, doesn't matter. And Rick's going to need to use it to its full extent there. Gets away on a sliver of 80. I mean, this is in the storm and still has to go out there. All the aerial maneuvers to avoid any bullets. Both the teammates having gone down there. This would be devastating for St. Joseph's if they get knocked out with still 13 other teams lingering around. So Trick's just desperately hoping there for some sort of heals. Is going to get a little bit more. It is kind of now caught between the storm and going back with the teammates and the team that's so obviously camping the body still.
You are asking where Micah was. Here's Micah fighting a completely different squad, by the way. Trots, we heard the reboot go off as well. And now just taking this, 1v3 perhaps, up close and personal? And in fact, it's going to get one immediately. Gauntlet's back up, finds where the others may be, and I think broadcast even got too excited in that. Maybe hit the wrong button, and now the spray comes through to stop the raise. Eventually does stop that raise as well. My God, Michael, what side quest are you on your own?
I mean, there's teammates lingering coming up from the shoreline now in behind there. And actually, Trick's eventually going to go down in the storm. You see it. And Typo going to get thirsted for a second time here. Now it's up to Edgemead to locate that last player who's already put miles between them, understanding that there was no need for them to stick around. But it's starting to get a bit late to try down that into the storm for the reboot cards. Down 3 teams in total. We head across now, back into the Hillcrest. No, this is the Glenwood squad.
Honey, Divine, Kyle, fresh off of a victory royale. And they're taking their time with it. They're playing it slow. They don't need to rush for eliminations. They just need to play out for that end game when all eliminations come to them. Because let's be honest, are we going to risk pushing every other team that's around us and risk getting eliminated quite early on? There's still 13 teams. Or are we gonna wait for the mad rush that happens at the end where we can hold a hill just like the last game and block out everyone needing to rotate to the safety zone?
Tough question at this stage, because again, if you just sit back in a bush, you'll get to the final couple of zones, but no KP means there are going to be teams ahead of you already that you can't catch up to, even if you win first place. So I think the big part here, AR, for me, is you can't force it. You got to stay mobile, you got to be aggressive, you got to try and open up the opportunities, but if you take the brunt of the damage in a trade-off, or you just don't find a nice line, you have to back off and just live to fight another day. Divine is aware and actually spots out the Edgemead squad in the background with complete oblivion to the fact that there is a team in the bush 2 meters away from him.
Spidey sense is working, but for the wrong team, for the wrong distance. In fact, Kyle also going to peek it, but immediately gets shot down now as well. Has to take the low ground right now. Takes a little bit of fall damage over there, but not enough to actually make a play. Overdrive grenades now being popped, used to create that distance all the way back to Divine. Playing the apartment building rather than out in the open, but Storm is pushing in as well. Storm number 3, so you're still fairly safe, but I mean, we saw those early on zones, how it ticked enough to go ahead and take out Chrissy last game. So, of course, can't stay out here for too long. In fact, going to overdrive one more time to get over to Connie and have a reset over there. Meanwhile, other side of the map, Enzyme, Happy Hippo, and Starks, now a trio for our final day over here, looking to go ahead and get as much as they possibly can, and a bunch of people up above them as well. This could be a lot of KP if they play their timing right, and looks like they're trying to get into this fight as quickly as possible.
There comes the edit, but you've run into 2 players. That's a long reload animation. Oh no, okay. I was actually just reloading again. I thought that was an opponent's team. They actually just decided to group up together, get that mist off, and use the low gravity. It's a great way to adapt when you go for those overdrives and you kind of conk your head on the cone at the top that's waiting for you. So still spotting out the team who's given up the high ground now, and now has the opportunity to chase them down as Nitro lights up the kill feed with a triple kill. Okay.
Here, Thai boss doing work over there is absolutely insane as they get more KP. Bolix getting spotted out there for just a second. Enzyme not going to take that shot. And I mean, let's just talk about Enzyme's loadout right there for a second. Gold Iron Pump, Gold Scar as well. Beautiful loadout to get KP, especially to where we are right now. Storm number 4 means that we're going to have more mid to close range battles than we will in that early game. Move over to RHB and the rest of squad as they're also playing it quite passive right now. They're taking their time for things, and I mean, fair play to you. Edgemead's right there, and Graf getting caught out in the open on a little trip down Memby Lake. Eventually gets taken down, and this is bad news now for RHB, even as they find themselves in that same spot. And oh my god, Dragon is up close and personal already, looking to go ahead and take the crown for the gold. Get some more KP on board as Star, the last one alive, trying to pull Lion King from the height above, but eventually taken down because the real king of the jungles, are here, and they're gonna get that res off and a full reset.
Man, it was kind of nice to see that from the victim's point of view. So often we've been chasing with Edgemead into one of those frays, but you got to really see what it's like as a team on low ground. They were just there trying to get the res off, and the player went down. You look to the left, Dragon's waiting, knocking at your door already, and then it was impossible to track who was shooting you. They were bouncing around so well that a solo player just doesn't have the ability to outplay that trio when they are so well unified and so cohesive into the movement. So it really shows you what it's like in these lobbies when you're going against players of such high skill. And yet some of them, a lot of them, have already started to challenge for that. We jump in right now, back with this Elite X squad who's lost their Happy Hippo, making their tracks at least back into the zone. Maybe one last reboot ban to be lingering. I see one just outside the zone if you want to try for it, but don't know how many teams are going to want us. We see now Hillcrest find themselves an Edgemead.
I mean, we're also about that halfway mark right now where the storm's gonna tick for 5 damage per second, so I don't really think we want to be in that position to try to raise outside in the storm, as Micah taking height, getting shot from behind for just a little bit over there. But Dragon is there to go ahead and cover a whack as well as we reach our top 10, ladies and gentlemen. 27 players, and storm number 5 about to start closing in, and it is going to move west side right now, at least southwest side. So we'll see how this rotations will go through. Nitro going to take down Prisoner Pravan over there. Trot's, in fact, going down as well. And I mean, all these fights look to be happening either in the storm or north of the storm. So we'll see exactly how that plays out. If we take a look at that mini-map really quickly, there's a lot of players on that north side. Look how much are trying to rotate in so quickly. And yeah, there it is. Hillcrest right here, looking for the final few eliminations. King Jr. having to take that low ground, but my god, that low ground's not gonna be much safer. You might as well try to take the height again. Nope, not gonna work out. Back to the lobby. In fact, there are no more lobbies, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the final game of term number 2, and we promised you more combats than ever before, and we're seeing it right here, right now, as we are in our top 9 teams.
Man, and Hillcrest is not slowing down. They got 10 KP to their name already. They got 14 out of the last match, and that Slurp gonna last them all the tick damage as he wants. Can play chicken against the Storm and everyone else who's waiting. The teammates now join in there. Nitro up to 6 kills. Got 7 eliminations in the previous lobby on his own, and so certainly looking to better that here today, but there's too many teams around them. Poke a couple of shots down where you can. More importantly, get to cover. Stabilize out there. Nitro goes down. Mike is the one to claim that prize and shut it down. Confirmed at the end by Dragon. Tybos gets a little bit of retribution for their fallen teammates. So 2v2. Sparrow still trying to get back into this fight with all the heals. Quick pizzas top that off. Micah's getting rezzed up, and there's a big difference between it. The trio going to come back on there, and Micah back on their feet. Oh, Hillcrest has lost their player.
Oh, the double res over there for the reset. That's such bad timing for Hillcrest as well. I know that they so badly wanted to get that confirmed. They wanted to stop that res from going through, but they just couldn't. They were low on HP. They lost one of their teammates. They didn't want to risk getting out of this game, and they had to just settle for the res to go off. But here they try to get a res of their own. But my god, look who's waiting for that res to come through. Volix and company.
Oh, nope.
Actually, that's going to be, yeah, Nitro down again. And will that be the full team wipe? It does seem to be so, unfortunately, for Hillcrest over there. Completely falling. And oh my god, not the gritty on the grave. That's crazy right there.
That's crazy when you're sitting on 2 KP. The other team has already got 10 there. So Hillcrest has done the work that they can. Won't get any more placement points. Placement instead going to go to McPherson and the rest of the team, who's now got their first taste of blood and looks to get a little bit more, get themselves topped up before they look to it. But I mean, look around them. Teams on every side. CBK, the closest to them. Mr. Fishy and the rest here on the high ground. And looking all the way across down there to Glenwood on the far side. Typo's back into the game again. It's a double reboot coming through then. Manages to use that extra life to pick up a kill on Sano.
Double one-ups, if you will, as Turs eventually goes down to AWAC there one more time, and that's some more KP for Edgemead. Now I want to point out Edgemead off of that leaderboard in 9th position right now, post-game number 1. Only 4 kills to their name post-game number 1. So they are doing work to try to climb to the top. Glenwood was in first, 79 points to 7 of them. So they're trying to keep that first place spot. We'll see how well they can do so as Dragon gets the confirm on Turs right now. Mr. Fishy and company trying to build up for this final endgame. Storm number 7, 30 seconds left, and everyone having to move east of where they are, but the Storm about to shift one more time the next 20 seconds. And look who's on height once again. Edgemead have claimed the high ground just like it is Star Wars, but AWAC getting beamed from that distance has to build up very quickly and now poses the risk of getting chopped down from the teams below them.
Dragon's still putting the pressure on his own solo journey there. Pookie, the last one now left alive here from Turs, and Poiki having gone down, and that's a bad position to be in, but at least has bought some space. No heals to speak of as well. And it was Dragon just on that low ground while the teammates were above. So that's the difference, though, when you look at it. AR is... You see AWAC take some damage, immediately goes to cover. Doesn't try and cheese it out, doesn't try and get greedy, just resets it and goes for another one. See Glenwood now on the move. Quick movements coming out from Connie to flank on the outside. And tries to just stabilize up a little bit of a tunnel for his teammate. Got a great spot to get it out there and actually takes the aggressive shotgun to the face off the slide there. That's going to be a great way to open up the fight. I think that was finished off by the teammate coming in with them. Kyle got that eventually. Still only 2 KP here for Glenwood, so going to need to get something out of this. And Mr. Fishy, the first target, gets edited really close. Manages to get himself up some stairs and keeping a sliver of walling between them. Eventually, Micah going to be the one to get the kill. Actually steals that out of the hands of Glenwood. This is Edgemead now looking to put on a huge score tally to bring themselves back to first position for week 6.
And that's what worries me as well. I thought by now that Glenwood, like, by Storm number 6, they would have gotten more KP by now, but only 2 to their name, and then getting that one stolen as well is heartbreaking. It's heart-wrenching. And now they just have to play for this endgame as you can see them trying to farm the tree. 7 teams left. 14 players. This is deja vu right now as Zone is going to move south of Dark Dominion, and Mr. Fishy getting caught out by this hill is going to take a chunk of damage from the storm, and you do not want to be caught out in these storms right now. This is where being out in the storm for 1 second either means that you're getting eliminated instantly, or you're going to try to put the pressure and need siphon from someone else. Enzyme eventually falling over there to Mac as we are down to our top 5. 12 players. AWAC trying to get some more eliminations, using those gauntlets to get positioning and get back over to Dragon. Micah as well off of the zipline. And man, oh man, it's utter chaos with all of these builds as the zone shifts east one more time.
Oh, CBK falls down. Final 4 teams right now. 3 of these players are this Edgemead squad. Is nearly Dragon falling there and making it into a duo. Mr. Fishy gets taken out there, but he's raised back up and see AWAC. Oh, these guys don't have the heals to sustain, and that zone is moving a little bit too quickly for them to try and last it out. Micah gonna go down so quickly right there. Edgemead with 10 kills to their name. Only 2 players left on the other side. Divine doing work there, and Dragon just trying to stay alive through the storm, having a heal off with himself.
I think he goes down to zone over there, if I'm not mistaken. He might actually go down. Connie does get credited that kill, but I think went down over to Storm. That's another Elam over for Glenwood, as they now have the height. AWAC taken down. Glenwood do it one more time, one more week in a row, and now a 3v3 over here, or sorry, a 3v2 I should say, as Mac gets taken out. Wallach's the last alive right now. As Connie looking to get over this fence, and my god, Glenwood once again, 7 eliminations, back at it, twice in a row with another victory royale.
And again, comfortable. They just played it out there, everyone kind of sharing the load. HP bars all but full. I mean, that was a team that was patient the whole way through. Other teams went a little bit too aggressive, Hillcrest High getting their 10 kills, but not then having enough to sustain them at the end. So AWAC, Dragon, and Micah from Edgemead, they were pushing aggressively towards the end, but, just a little bit too desperate for the kills at times. Whereas, you see, Glenwood, this is a team that comes from a culture of esports. This is a passionate school that has tier after tier of players. They've trained them up, and this is the best thing about the high school leagues is that, there are going to be graduations at the end of it. If I'm not mistaken, this is the last year for a large number of these Glenwood players. And so they've put it all on the line. 2 lobbies this week and 2 lobbies last week. If ever there was a team to peak towards the end of a season, it's got to be Glenwood.
Now the question remains, did Hillcrest do enough over there to end off our final week number 6 of the ASL Term 2 Premier Division on that golden spot in placement 1? Did they do enough? Because there was only a 3-point difference. I didn't get to see how much Hillcrest had in terms of eliminations or the placement, but Glenwood obviously winning that with 7 more limbs. Boost them up to a total of 14. We'll see how that ends off. Hillcrest had 14 already, which, that's just poetry right there. So we'll see how it ends off. But either way, no team is going to catch up to Edgemead on that overall leaderboard. Currently they're sitting at 777. The overall leaderboard will be updated in a day's time or so. So check in again tomorrow. It might be updated. But my God, what a final day, Alt. I was going to call in sick because I feel horrible. I'm so glad I didn't do that because my God, what a day it was. And we started off hyped already with the announcement of AGC.
Yeah, we've got a LAN. We've got the entirety of this 2 terms worth of Fortnite fighting it out all for that. And you know what? This, to me, was the perfect culmination. This was really seeing the same teams coming out of the top there. We've gotten to know the names. We don't have to look at the stat sheets anymore. We just know the stories of these players by this stage. And so getting to know the names now makes me go, I'm invested in this LAN. I'm ready to see who shows up on the day. I want to see these teams who fought so hard and put in this passion make the trip down. Whether I know Glenwood, Hillcrest, they're coming from KZN. We've got a bunch of Joburg schools. I think St. Joseph's is from that side of the world, and we're going to get to see them all actually face to face. This is how rivalries are born throughout the season. It's how friendships will be made across the table from each other. This is what esports as a league is all about, and today was that kind of pinnacle, the last step on the road towards the LAN.
And Alt, we have our final leaderboard for our week number 6 Premier Division. And Glenwood sit on top with 158 points.
I said that a good team will crack more than 100 in a day. 158 there. In fact, 2 teams crossing that 100 mark. Hillcrest High School with that plethora of kills to their names managed to get out there. Apex, very aggressive, good performance throughout, but all they managed to do is crack the top 10 with their several eliminations. But look across the board at these best teams. They're all sitting with high KPs. Delta Park just managing to rat themselves out over the 2 days, but it is Edgemead bringing up the rest of the podium. Big shout out, though, to 158 points. Glenwood, a stellar team that I cannot wait to see.
What a final day, Halt. That was the most action-packed day that we've had from the entire term. 6 weeks long, ladies and gentlemen. And that's not even counting term number 1. Alt, we talk about term 1. That was when these players started getting comfortable, right? It's when these players were like, okay, we're getting back into it. Let's get the feel for it. And on top of that, new chapter, new season. Let's learn our way through it. Term 2, competitiveness kicks in. We talk about the LAN as often as we can. We mention how it was last year. It gets the players hyped up. It gets them excited. And then we get to a point like this where the competitiveness is so high. It's unbelievable. But here's the thing, Alt. The next time we get to see these players, it's a brand new season. Yeah, that's right. The season ends in like a couple weeks. I'm not even joking. Which means everything's gonna flip on its head. It means that when AGC comes around, there's new metas. Alt and I are completely lost again. It means that these players are going to have everything figured out and they should be the ones commentating. But it means that the action's going to be completely rewritten. And I cannot wait for that. It's been a phenomenal 6 weeks. If this was my own personal stream, go drop us both follows, by the way. We also stream. I would click a button to play an applause sound effect because you guys are phenomenal players and you guys watching as well are phenomenal viewers for joining us every single week. Every single Wednesday afternoon and evening, whether we did open, whether we did just premiere, whether we did a combination of both. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this.
Shout out to all the coaches, all the teachers, the people working behind the scenes to organize their squads together. I know teenagers are not always easy to deal with, but you can see why we do it. The passion at the end of the day is fantastic. And AR, like you say, new season coming up, LAN environment, everything is going to be different for these youngsters the next time they get to Clash. But if we've seen anything over our many years here at ASL, it's that these guys put in the work. And after the exams are going to be finished in a couple of weeks, you can imagine after that moment, it is straight onto the console or the PC to grind it out and get ready for that LAN. But guys, we will have to see you for then. If you guys are not aware, there are going to be extra little leagues, etc., hosted by ACGL for the schools leagues in the 3rd and 4th term, even though we are coming to the end of the official ASL league. So make sure you keep up to date on all their socials and that acgl.gg site in general, whether you're a pro player or a schools player, is a place to go keep an eye out on future tournaments, etc. These are the megastars in the making. They're going to be in that pro league. So this is the last time you're going to see it here on the stream for a little while. Next time, I hope to see you in person. Otherwise, guys, it's been a great season, as AR says. For myself, the whole production company, we bid you adieu. And we'll see you guys at AGC.
Gamers from around sub-Saharan Africa, get ready for the return of the African Gaming Championship for 2026. We're heading to Cape Town, South Africa, where players will be competing at Grand West Entertainment World for 150,000 Rand in cash. This is where the top players from Africa gather to be able to compete. This is where bragging rights are earned. This is where new stars rise. This is where legends are made and legends fall. This is the crowning moment of African esports. This is AGC. The titles fighting for the crown at AGC will be Valorant, Fortnite, Trios and Solos, EAFC, Call of Duty Mobile, Free Fire, Squads and Solos, Tekken 8, Brawlhalla. Registrations for the African Gaming Championship of 2026 are now open. Head over to acgl.gg/AGC26. Let's see who's going to be crowned Africa's best esports champion.